drives me is being successful. I don't want to come second. I always want to be number one. This sport's taken me far beyond anywhere I thought I'd be. In the ring, it's all business. I learned from an early age that it's not about point sparring, it's about doing as much physical damage onto someone before they do it onto you. If you'd have told me to sleep outside in the dirt, and I would have done it, just become a world champion. What makes a world champion is determination and never giving up on your dreams, having that one dream, set the goal high, and just not stopping until you achieve it.
I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to this DVD series, and hopefully by the end of it, everyone's got a few more tricks up their sleeve to practice in the gym. In this first part of this DVD, we're going to practice authentic Muay Thai skills while learning to generate as much power as possible out of each and every technique that have helped me become a 5-time world champion. In this first part, we're going to learn basic guard and footwork. So let's step over here and let's get into it. To start with, we're going to work with the basic guard. With the guard, it's very important to have a very solid base so you get a maximum power out of each shot. To begin with, we bring our feet together. From there, we take shoulders width apart. If you're right-handed, your right leg's going to come back shoulders width. And same if you're a southpaw, left leg comes back, up. Okay. So with the right side, shoulders width apart. When we're practicing our footwork, what we don't want to do is have our feet parallel or our feet behind one another. So to start with, we come through, and just to get things nice and comfortable, we push off the back foot, stepping forward, and then to come back again, we push off the front foot. Step forward, up, stepping back. Step forward, stepping back. If we look at it from the side angle, we push off the back leg, stepping on the front, and coming back again. While we're moving our footwork, we're trying to keep our heels off the ground also, so it's like a cat on a hot tin roof. Coming through, so it's nice and fast. Pushing through, pushing back, pushing through, pushing back. Stepping to the side, the same distance apart. Every time I pivot, bang. Stepping through, step, step. Forward, forward, back, back. Another very important part of the basic stance is your guard. From here, we're just making a solid fist with both hands and having the knuckle part up on our cheeks. If you're not throwing attacks, your hands are up here the whole time. At first, your shoulders are going to get very heavy, but the more you do this, the easier it'll become and easier to leave them there the whole time. So just coming through, up, stepping forward. Now that we've got the basic guard, now we're going to work off the first techniques, which is going to be the jab. From here, to generate as much power as possible, we're not just going to use our arm, but we're going to push off our back leg. As we push off, we land on the front foot, and as soon as the front foot touches, it's like a trigger to start the jab. Bang, and coming back. We push off, and in. I push in, bang. Once I've hit my opponent, I use my momentum from my hand coming back to help me push on my front foot as well, to get me out of danger. Pushing through, and back. Pushing through, and back. From another angle, as you notice, if I just use my arm, I'm only going to get 20% power. As soon as I use my back leg, I'm using my whole body weight behind each shot. Boom, and back. Boom. If you can see, it's not just an arm punch, but it's coming all the way from the floor, up my leg, through my hips, into the shoulder, and finishing at the knuckle like a whip. Boom. Boom. I push off the front foot, I'm delivering in. As the hand comes back, that little step away. deliver, bop, and back again. Deliver, bop, and back. From this other angle, you'll be able to notice that as I punch, I'm not leaving any gaps. So the jab comes out. As it comes through, I'm bringing the shoulder all the way to my cheek to protect me just in case my opponent attacks me at the same time. As soon as I deliver, I've hit my opponent, and then I'm pushing off my front foot at the same time as my jab comes back to get me out of danger. Stepping through and out. Stepping through and out. Deliver and back through. Deliver and back through. I'm not only using my back leg to get power, but I'm also bridging the gap between me and my opponent. So if he's at a distance, a big push off, I'm striking and then getting out of there before he has the opportunity to hit me. Bang. Bang. One more angle again. Left shoulder's back, fully locked and loaded. As soon as the foot touches, I fire it and back through. Fire and back. Fire and back. But bang. Bang. Now that we've got the single jab happening, now we want to work on the double. A lot of people have dramas when they throw two jabs. They'll do a perfectly good jab the first one, then the second one, they'll only half bring it back and only tippy tap with the second. From here, we want to try and change that a little bit. So after the first jab, we've pushed off our back leg, we've landed. From here, as the hand comes back, we're going to push our body weight back onto our back foot, and then we're going to push off once again. So you're coming through. So we jab in, so jab, back, jab, and back to the guard. Jab, back, jab. From front ways, you'll also see that my shoulders are coming all the way back as well before I throw my second. I'm pushing off my legs, one. I reload my shoulder so it's coming back all the way past my ear to get as much power as possible. I push on my back leg and pushing in once again. So from here we come through, so one, back, two, and back to the guard. Step, step. From another angle, you'll notice that I also throw it like a piston. So there's no pause in between the first and the second. One, two, and back out. One, two, and back. One, two, back down. But with both jabs, my shoulder's touching my cheek for both times as well. Boom, boom, back to the guard. Boom, boom. Another thing, if you've hit the opponent with their first jab, boom, you've knocked them back 6 inches. If I stand in the one spot, I'm not going to be able to reach him. So I need to push off my legs to make sure that the second one lands also. Boom, boom. So stepping, and back. From another angle, so we're reloading the shoulders every time. So one, step, two, and back to the guard. Step, step, and back out. If you're fighting someone and you've hit him with a really nice hard jab at the start with, and if you don't push off and you tippy tap them with the second one, they're not going to be scared or intimidated. You've got to make sure both punches are as hard as possible to get that fear factor in during the fight. One, two, and back out. One, two, and back to the guard again. Pop, pop. Push, 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 push. Now that we've got the footwork for your double jab, you can use that same footwork for your triple, 4 jabs, 5 jabs, 6 jabs. With the triple jab, we have 2 different options. We can either follow straight forward, so 1, 2, 3, so every jab is exactly the same. 1, 2, 3. Another variation of this one is working in a circular motion. So we leave the front foot planted, push off the back foot again every time the jab comes back. So we jab first, jab comes back, we quarter turn. Jab, turn, jab, turn, jab, turn, jab. The reason why we do this, if you hit your opponent, we want to change your angle so we're not standing in front to be in danger. We've jabbed through, we come to their side, we jab to their side. As they turn, we've hit them from the side again. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. To speed this up a little bit more, jab, 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 jab. Coming back again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jab, 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 jab. Our next technique is going to be a right cross. From here, we load the shoulder up so it's coming behind our ear first. From there, we're not just throwing the arm out because we're not going to get enough power. We start at the feet and we pivot through, so we're using the whole hips and shoulders. Once we extended it fully, and then the hand comes out last. Bang, finishing up the knuckles. So pushing off the floor, hips, shoulders, and knuckles. Exactly the same as the jab. As we come through, to know that I've got full extension, I keep my head straight and I try and bring my shoulder to my cheek. Coming all the way, bang. That's going to add another 3-4 inches on the punch and also keep me away from my opponent so I'm not in their range for them to hit me. Bang, and back. Coming through again. Twisting the whole body into the punch. Back to the guard. Twisting and back. From another angle. Coming through and back again. Twisting through and back. Making sure this left hand up as high as well so I don't get countered. Bang. Bang. Okay, now that we've got the single jab and now we've got the cross, now we're going to put them together. So from here, we're in our guard, our body weight's on our back leg. We're going to do the step, we push off the back leg, we land, we fire out the jab. Once the jab comes back, we rip that left shoulder back as hard as we can to get as much power as we can off the right and back to the guard. So step, crossing through and back out. Step, crossing through and back. From this angle, you'll be able to see both shoulders are touching the cheeks as I execute my punches. 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. From another angle, you'll also see that as I punch out, one hand's up on the cheeks, other hand's up on the cheeks, and back here at the end. 1, 2. If your opponent's at a little bit away from you and you can't reach him, the harder you push off, the harder your punches will be. Stepping through, and back out again. Step, step, and back. For another angle, you can make up as much ground as you like, depending on how hard you push off that leg. Step, step, and back. Step, step, and back. Step, step. Step, step, and back. Pop, pop. Pop, pop. We've got the 1-2s, now we're going to incorporate the double jab right hand. This is a good technique if you want to get your partner or opponent up onto the ropes and then let them go with the big bomb. So from here, we chase them across the ring with our back foot, we're pushing through, 1, 2. Once we've landed, using our back leg to generate power, back to the guard. Stepping through, 1, step, 2, right, and back out. Jab, jab, cross, and back. From here, we push in again, 1, 2, cross, backing out. 1, 2, cross, and back. One more time. Jab, jab, cross, and back. Up, up, and back. Hooks are a perfect technique if you want to end the fight fast. You set it up with a 1-2 first, 1, 2, and then from there, as their hands come together, they're going to have a hole between their guard and their shoulder. If you can land that hook right on the spot, you're going to end the fight early. To start the hook, we're going to bring our right shoulder to our cheek. From here, this is going to twist the top half of the body. We bring the elbow level with the shoulder and locking the arm out at 90 degrees. From there, once it's locked, we forget about the hook and we worry about the other shoulder. From here, we pull the shoulder back as hard as we can, and that's going to twist the whole top of the body into the punch. Locking through, lock it out, and pull, boom. Once we punch, we only want to go about 2 inches past our nose so we don't overcommit to the punch. 1, 2, and back. 1, 2. From here, you also notice that I'm only trying to use the whole left side of my body. I'm not twisting everything, otherwise it's going to be too hard to throw the right. Coming through, twist, and back. Twist, and back. As you execute your hook, you want to try and pretend that you're hitting a trampoline. So you're not just punching and then bring it back to the guard. We come out on one line, bang, and then trying to bring it back the same line that you came to help you get back to your guard again. Bang, and back, bang, bang. This will help you if you want to double up your hook or add a right hand. So here, as we throw the one hook, we bring it all the way back, and then from there we can throw a second hook with the same power as the first. 1, 2, 1, 2. Or if you like to throw the straight right after the hook, then it's going to help you generate power also. 1, boom, Another thing that a lot of people have troubles with while throwing a hook is they throw it too close to their face and they bring it here. In the real life, your opponent's not going to be standing that close to you. So wherever your first 2 punches land, you could try and imagine that you want the hook to land on the same target again. Then coming out nice and wide. 1, boom. 1, 2, boom. Okay. Pop, pop, long. In front. 1, 2, nice and long. 1, 2, long. 1, 2, long. Pop, pop. The right hook is exactly the same as the left. We bring the left shoulder to the cheek, loading it up, locking it out, and then once it's locked, we pull the opposite shoulder back again, bang. Stopping 2 inches above, past the nose, pop, and springing back to the guard, bang. 1, bang. Twisting the whole body to get as much power out of the shot as possible. Just like using a baseball bat, if you're going to hit a ball, you wouldn't just tap it. You'd bring your whole body behind it and swing as much as you can to get as much power as possible. To double the hook up, you can bring the right shoulder forward to the cheek, lock it through. From there, once you spring back, you're loading up the other hook straight away. 1, 2, and back. A lot of people have a problem when they're throwing a hook that they tend to throw it too close to their face. You've got to imagine that your opponent is standing at a distance. So as you throw your 1, 2, you want to try and make your hook land on the same target as the first 2 punches. 1, 2, and nice and long. A lot of people, they think if their opponent's here, it's impossible. Your opponent would never be this close to your face. They'd always be at range. So 1, 2, and that same target as before. 1, 2, and long. Coming from another angle. 1, 2, and long. 1, 2, and long. 1, 2, long. All the way up. Pop, pop, bang. Pop, pop, bang. Okay, now we're going to work on the body rips. Body rips are a good punch if you want your opponent's facial expression to look like they're sucking on lemons. They're going to come through. We're going to turn our shoulder in so we load up the top of the body. From here, instead of a hook where the thumb's going to face our face, we bring the thumb up so it's facing the ceiling. We lock it out about level of the hip, and from there we just leave it locked in. Now we're going to pull the opposite shoulder back, bang, and we're trying to make the full face of the glove or the knuckles land nice and flush on our opponent's floating ribs. We come through, so we lock it in, we step forward, turn on the body, lock it out, leave it locked, and now pull that body through. Bang, and back to the guard. Okay, so 1, deliver, and back out. From another angle, we take a step in, bridging the gap, lock it out, deliver through, other hands up nice and high, and back to the guard. Step in and back. Another angle again, stepping through, deliver, and back. With the rips, we don't want them too narrow, otherwise we're going to hit our partner's or opponent's elbows or arms. We want to come out nice and wide, so we come behind their elbow, behind their guard, and hit him in nice and flush. Stepping through. If we bring it too narrow, we're going to miss. So nice and wide, out. Boom. Boom. With the right rip, it's exactly the same. We just take a step forward, dropping the left shoulder nice and close to the jaw, and then throwing it backwards again. Nice and wide, once again, aiming behind the elbow so we're getting all body with their knuckles. Up and back through. Up. Up. If you like to double the rip up, A lot of people, when they first start out, they'll hit with one rip, then they'll reload their body, come all the other way, and then try and punch, which is a little bit too slow. So what we want to do, we take a step forward, and we just drop our whole body weight as if we're sitting on a chair. Bang. Once we're down, we lock the arm out, pivoting. As soon as that hand lands, the right one starts, and back to the guard again. So we come through, 1, 2, and back out. Making both rips nice and wide, so we come in behind the elbows for both shots. Step, 1, 2. Step, 1, 2. From another angle, you'll see that I'm not leaning forward into the rip, but I'm keeping my back nice and straight as if I'm sitting on a chair. 1, 1. Changing. That way we're going to keep a lot more balance as well instead of losing our body momentum. And back through. Other great ways of punching the body besides the body rips are the straight punches. From here we can use the jabs or the straight rights. To generate good power for a jab to the body, first you want to come through and almost jab to the face or jab above their head to set it up. As you jab through, as the jab comes back, we're going to bring our body weight back onto our back leg. From here, the jab and shoulders loaded up, and then we push off our back leg again and driving straight into their sternum and come back out. So a little bit faster, up, back, bang, and through. So it's a rocking motion with the legs. Up, back, pushing through. This is going to get more power not only through the shoulders, but through the leg. Bang. The first jab punches up. Our opponent's going to cover their face, which is going to expose their sternum, hopefully, and then we take advantage and stepping straight through. Up, bang, and through again. Up, bang, and then straight up. We fake, up, come on through, into the body. Jab, body, jab, body, jab, body. 1, up, 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 up. We can do the same with the right hand. We can set it up with a jab first, either to their face or above their head. As they cover up, from here we drop that right hand down nice and low and straight through their back. Not only to their sternum, but going through their body so we touch their backbone and back to the guard. From here, bang, jab, body and back. Boom, boom, boom. As I attack the body, I want to try and make the right hand as long as possible. I don't want to get in close and I throw it halfway out, because that means I'm going to be in their guard where they might be able to elbow or catch me with a hook or something. So coming through as long as possible. As the hand comes back, I use that momentum to help bring me back to my guard again. Boom. 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 As the punch comes back to the guard. Boom. So not punching, bringing, and then stepping, all one motion. Bang. Step, boom. Step, boom. Step, boom. Uppercuts are another great technique that, thrown with the right timing, can put your opponent in a whole world of hurt. From here, once again, we're not just using the arm because we want to try and get power. We're going to put all our body weight under our front leg, and then pushing off through our hip, through our shoulders, and finishing up through our knuckles. Just like before with the hook, we don't want to bring the uppercut too close to our face. We want to hit that same target as we were hitting before with the 1-2. So dropping down, pushing off, and then exploding upwards. Up the center. So if you want to set it up with the 1-2 first, 1, 2, using that as your target, and letting the knuckles finish on that same spot as before. Up, 1, 2, dropping down, and pushing upwards. With the uppercut, you don't want to throw it on an angle. If your partner has a tight guard, you're going to hit their forearms and elbows. From here, you want to try and come vertically up as much as you can. So if there's any gap, you found it and hit them under the chin. Up through the center. Up through the center. To generate a little bit more power, again, once you push down, instead of using the arm, you can use your other shoulder from here, and that's going to twist the whole top of your body into the punch. Twisting down, pulling the shoulder back, up the middle. Coming forward, push off again, and back. Boom. Another angle. Boom. As you can see, I'm also trying to use my shoulder to help protect my jaw at the same time. Bang. With the right uppercut, it's exactly the same, except for we're transferring our body weight from our lead leg to our back leg. We come back, we're almost sitting down on our back leg, and from there, once again, we push off the floor through our hip and through our shoulder, up the center, on that same straight line as we had, so not in the angle, but straight up underneath their chin. From here, coming through, bang. So once it's locked, opposite shoulder, once again, to get the full body torque behind the shot. Bang, and bang, bang, bang. When throwing the double uppercut, we're going to go off the left leg, pushing off, bang, up the center. As the hand comes back, we transfer our body weight onto our back leg and pushing off the floor once again from here. So 1, back, 2, 1, back, 2, that's way, 1, 2, and back. Up, 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 up. Keeping the chin nice and tucked to the chest the whole time and letting the shoulders rolling off your cheeks. What sets Muay Thai and MMA apart from other martial arts is the use of the elbow. With one devastating strike, you can stop the fight immediately, either by a cut or by a knockout. To start with, we're going to learn a downward elbow. From here, to begin the technique, we want to try and bring our thumb all the way to our shoulder, leaving there the whole time. From there, we're going to come over the top and bowl it over the top of our shoulder, as if we're bowling a cricket ball, just with our elbow. From there, once we've landed, we come back the same line as we came. So we touch, over, and back. Okay, so you can imagine that you're Brett Lee, thumbs to the shoulder, over the top, and back. Bang, and back. To get a little bit more power again, we can use our body weight. So we push off our back leg, we step in, we deliver, and then stepping back out again, so we're out of range. Step, over, and back. As I elbow, I also have my other hand up to protect myself, just in case that my opponent unleashes an elbow at the same time. Bang, and coming through. Up, and back out. Up, and back. Coming from another angle. Over. The reason why I keep my thumb on my shoulder is to make the tip of my elbow nice and sharp, so it's almost like a blade. I'm not trying to hit my forearm, but trying to use the tip so as it hits, instant stitches. Off the lead hand, it's hard to get the same power as off the back for the downward elbow. So to here, we can bring it across. We bring the thumb to the shoulder, and instead of coming downwards, we're going to come across like a hook. So we lock the thumb to the shoulder, elbows level with the shoulder, coming through horizontally. Just like the hook, we're stopping 2 inches past the nose, and then springing back to the guard again. Up. Also, like the hook, we're bringing our right shoulder all the way to our cheek, so we're twisting the top half of our body. Once it's loaded, we pull the shoulder back as fast as we can, and that's going to get all our power for our strike. If our opponent's a little bit further away, we can push off our back leg just like a jab to help bridge the gap. So I load, I push in, I strike, and back out again. Our next devastating technique is the uppercut elbow. From here, what we're going to do is pretend that you have hair gel on your fingers. We're going to have our guard up and we're going to run our hand all the way past our ear. From here, once again, we're trying to get our thumb almost to the shoulder as the hand comes past. So we come through, deliver, and back out. Deliver, and back. You can also use the same technique off the backhand. Come on, straight up the center. You notice as I throw the elbows that I'm not coming out on an angle. I want to try and bring the elbows across my own face, in front of my own nose, so as if I was hitting my own partner under his chin. To generate more power, I can push off my back leg just like the jab and push into the uppercut elbow. Now that we've practiced throwing the elbow singularly, now we're going to start throwing in combinations just so you get the feel of rhythm. From here, we might start with one elbow coming across and then the other one coming down and then back to the guard. From here, whatever elbow we strike with, the other hand's up nice and high. Bang. So we're always crisscrossing across and down and back, across, down and back. You can mix it up. You can either come up with the left and down with the right and back to the guard. 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. If you really want to get tricky, we can come across, we can come up, we can come across, we can come down, we can come across, down, and up, across, down, and up. Once you finish throwing your elbows in different combinations, it's up to you how you want to throw them. But even if you're backyard or in front of the mirror, you want to try and get that rhythm. So as you strike, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just making sure that whatever hand elbows, other hands up nice, so there's no holes in your defense. Cross, down, up, cross, down. Out of all the martial arts, Muay Thai would probably have the most hardest round kicks out of everyone. From here, to generate as much power as possible, we're going to come up on the front foot, and then just to start off with, just to get used to the rotation on the lead leg, we're just going to do half a circle. So we push off that lead leg, half a circle, landing parallel, and then back to the guard again. Coming through, pushing off, pivoting, and then just back. Trying to keep good balance the whole time. As we land on the other side, we only want to land about shoulders width apart, so we don't feel uncomfortable. So if we go too far, and we land out here, you're sort of a little bit stuck. So pivoting through and placing the leg where you want to land, you don't just drop it down. Foot, placing and back. Once you feel that the pivot on the front foot, we come up on the toes again. This time we bring the knee level with the hip. Once we get to the highest point, we let our body weight of our leg carry our body around. Coming through, down again, and then it's back nice and fast. To get as much power as possible from here, really rotating the hip so the instep of the foot is turned all the way to the wall instead of having the toes facing the ceiling. So coming through, up, down, and then back. Also to help keep balance, we drop the same arm the side that we're kicking with. So we're coming through, so just like when you walk, you swing your arms, same deal when we throw the kick. Coming through, up, and back to the guard, nice and fast. Up, and back. We don't want to do a full 360 because if we get into the habit of doing that and up on the ring, if we turn our back for a split second, our opponent might attack us. And if we can't see it, it could be knocked out. So coming through again, we're looking over that shoulder, keeping an eye on our opponent the whole time, and then spinning back to the guard nice and fast before we get punched in the back of the head. Up, boom, and back. Up, and back. From this angle, coming through, up, back again, up, and back. You might notice as I'm kicking, I'm not leaning backwards or I'm leaning to the side. I'm trying to keep my body nice and stationary, and if anything, just raising up as I start the kick, as I come up under my toes. Now they've got the right, now the other side is the left. So from here, this one's a little bit more technical because everyone's used to kicking the football with the right side or the right side of their body. So when it comes to kicking left, it's a whole new world. So we want to try and stand with the hips and shoulders facing our opponent. When we switch our legs, we do a little jump, so our right leg comes forward and our left one comes back. But at the same time, we want to try and keep our shoulders facing this direction, so we coil our body up like a spring. Up. From there, it's exactly the same motion as before. We're coming up on the toes on the front leg. We're pivoting it around, landing parallel. Then from here, we're coming back to southpaw, stepping back again just to get back to the guard. So here, we step, we kick, we're landing, southpaw orthodox. Now we're back at the start. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice as I use my arms, that using the arms is going to help generate power, but also keep my top half of my body on balance. Up, I come through, bang, bang, bang. From another angle, I switch, whoop, I coil right up, so when I let the kick go, I'm going to have more power. 1, 2, bang, bang. A little bit faster. From another angle, switching through, 1, coming around, bang, a little bit faster again, bang, bang, from the front, one of the most defensive moves in Muay Thai is the front kick, otherwise known as the teep. From here, it's an extension of a jab, but using our legs. So as our opponent comes towards us, from here, instead of using a jab, you'll notice that the teep, the front kick is twice as long, so we can really keep our opponent way at a distance. So from here, to start with, we're not going to move our legs. We're just going to bring our left leg up, so it's level with the hip. We push the kick out, striking into the midsection of our opponent. When we bring it back, the knee still level with the hip, and then we slowly come down and place it back to the start again. So up, we push through, we land, keeping the balance, and back down. Up, out, back, and down. So I'm trying to keep my body hunched nice and forward. If I lean backwards and I throw out the kick and I hit a target, it's going to push my body weight going back. So I'm standing on my ground, I come up, I push, land, keeping that balance, and slowly down. I'm not only working my front kick, but I'm also working my balance at the same time. To the front, up, out, back, and down. Up, back, and down. My hands are nice and tight as well. I'm not throwing them out. I'm keeping them nice and tight guard so I don't get caught, just in case my teep doesn't work or I parry it to the side. I don't want to get punched in the face, because getting punched in the face sucks. So coming through, up, bang, back. From another angle, up, bang, and down again. Boom. I'm not just dropping it, but I'm placing it down. Boom. So it's not a loud thud, but slowly. So up, bang, up, nice and relaxed, nice and smooth, like a dance move. The front kick off the lead leg is more of a defensive move to keep our opponents at bay, but the teep off the back leg is a lot more devastating because you can generate a lot more power. From here, we want to try and throw it exactly the same as the front leg, where we bring the knee up level of the hip and pushing out, bringing it back and slowly into the guard. Up, out, and back. From an angle, you'll notice that my hip's all the way back, so when I throw it forward, I'm using my whole body weight to extend out to the kick. And back. From this angle, from here, I'm back, pushing through into the guard. With this kick, we can either go to the stomach, to the chest, or even up to the face if you want to cause a little bit of claret. Up. Hands nice and tight, just like before. Throwing knees, sometimes it's a little bit more complicated than it looks. From here, a lot of people when they throw to start off with, they throw it up so the heel is right underneath the kneecap. And they come through and they're not going to get the right angle to cause any devastation. Okay, so from here, to change that a little bit, we're going to bring the ankle out to the side. And just like a kick, we're going to throw it on a 45-degree angle. So coming through, we're trying to strike right into the center. So instead of coming straight up, it comes from the side, and we're striking across the body. So we're imagining that our opponent is standing right in front of us, and we're trying to hit him right into the middle of their body. So instead of hitting to the side, we come right across and bang. So to help counterweight our body, we use our shoulders and hands, so to keep our body nice and centered. Bang, and back through. Bang. You don't have to worry about the guard so much to start out with. More so just working that balance. Up. Same off the one side. Up. Up. To help generate power, we can bring this lead leg in, and this is going to help build power plus bridge the gap with our opponent. We step forward. As the leg lands, we start the knee and back to the guard again. Step, knee, and back out. Step, knee, and back. Same off the other side. From here, step up and through. Up. We've hit our opponent with our right knee. So from here, we've got to imagine there's a 5-cent piece right in our opponent's sternum. So here, we've come through, we've hit it with the right knee. Now we want to try and hit exactly the same target off the left leg. So to build power, we take a step forward. As soon as the foot lands, we bring the knee up on that same angle and across the body once again. When we land, we come back to southpaw, stepping back to orthodox. Step, we straight, back and down. Coming through, knee, back, down. Using those shoulders and arms once again to keep our balance. Step, knee, back, back. Another angle, coming through. As I throw the knee, instead of having the ankle underneath, I'm trying to bring it out so my ankle's almost horizontal with the floor as I strike. Coming through, boom, back, boom, back. Same off the right side, boom. Really bring the ankle as far as you can out to the side so the tip of the knee is nice and sharp. But I also bring my knee out on an angle, just like my punches, where I come back on the same line as it comes out. So up, coming back to the guard again, nice and easy. That way, if I want to throw a double, boom, I just push off, bang again. Push, 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 push. If I change the angle that comes back, it's going to throw my whole body off balance. From here, out, back down, out, back down, out, and back down. With that same target right in the center, I can throw both knees, so both knees are hitting the same spot. So instead of going randomly, I'm coming through, landing in the middle, landing in the middle, landing, 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 landing. Knee, 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 knee. Using my shoulders and hands just to help to keep everything centered. So my head's not moving at all, everything's rolling off my spine. Up, 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 up. Another variation with the left leg is instead of stepping forward and striking, from the spot, we quickly change our legs. From here, we do a little hop where the left leg comes behind, right leg comes forward. And as soon as the left leg touches the ground, we spring into the knee, across, bang, into the center, and back to the guard again. So after you strike, instead of landing down in front and falling into your opponent, you want to be able to come back. So striking through, back down, bang, bang. This way, if your opponent's too close and you don't have enough room to step to execute the strike, just on the spot, back to the guard, bang, coming through. It's another way also to generate power. So as you pull the legs back, you're pulling your hips and body weight there, and as you strike, throwing everything behind it to maximize the shot. When blocking the kick, it's very important to have a very strong base. As you bring the leg up, you don't want any holes if you can help it. So we're going to come through. We just lift the leg up. So instead of coming on top and having a big hole there where you're finding a good kicker that knows how to hit their targets, you want to try and bring it all the way up to the edge of the elbow if you can. So we're not going to move the top half of the body. We're just bringing the leg up to our guard. You'll notice as I bring my leg up that there's no gap. I try and bring it all the way up to the top so my elbow is right at the edge of my knee. If I bring my elbow in too close, and if I find a very good kicker, they're going to come over the top past my leg, and still I'm going to cop the majority of my kick on my ribs and on my back. So I'm here. The more distance I have between my block and my body, the safer my body will be come fight time. From here, you'll also see that as I bring my leg up, I'm trying to bring my foot down so it's pointing towards the floor. From here, so up, bang. From here, I want to try and get my elbow on the outside of my knee. That's going to lock the forearm in. If I bring my elbow on top of the knee or inside and I fight a hard kicker, they're just going to push the arm out of the way, and I'm still going to cop the majority on my ribs, which really hurts. So here we come through, lock it in nice and solid. If they come past my leg, my forearm does the rest, and it's locked in where it's not going to go anywhere. Hands are up. We don't move the top half, we just let the leg come to our arms. Bang, and back down. Bang, and back down. The last thing I want to do is start getting in a bad habit where we drop our hands just in case they come over the top and hit us on the neck, and that's going to put us to sleep very fast. Bang. The same thing off the back leg. Bring it straight up, locking the elbow on the outside of the knee, and back down. We're not moving the body, we just lock the leg straight in. Bang. From another angle, lock it, and back. Lock it. When you first start out, there's a good chance that you're going to bang your knee straight into the elbow at least a dozen times, but that's what happens on the big jobs. Bang. Bang. If you can help it, you want to try and keep your body arched. If you lean back into the block and you get kicked, you're going to go straight backwards. If you keep your body arched, that's going to help you keep your balance for when the big kicks come. Bang. Bang. You'll also have less distance to cover as well. If I'm up too straight and I block up, I've got to bring my leg all the way up nice and high. If I'm hunched over, I only have to bring it a little bit up where I'm still protecting my head at the same time as my body. From here. When you block, if your opponent is throwing a hard leg kicks, you don't want to bring your legs straight out in front, because as they kick, they're going to push your legs straight out of the way. So if you can, try and come out on a 45-degree angle. So as the kick lands, it's nice and solid, keeping your balance, and slow back down to the start. Up and back, up and back, up. Same off the back leg, just the right angle. So not just straight up, but out to the side. Now that we've learnt one technique at a time, now's the fun part where we put everything together in shadow boxing. From here, you want to visualize an opponent in front of you the whole time. So instead of just going through the techniques, try and imagine exactly where your opponent will be as you're striking. Not only being able to attack, but able to come back to the guard straight away, and also your defense. So as you're striking, other hands up, touching the cheek. From here, up, coming through, making sure that all your attacks are hitting the same target as before. Okay, visualize legs, body, and head. From here, same legs, body, and head. They're coming through. So T-bend to the belly, punching, hooking up to the jaw, delivering your kicks to the body, coming back to the guard straight away so you don't get caught in the back of the head. From here, after you attack, being able to get away again so that you're out of range from your opponent. Up, up. He might be invisible, but he could be dangerous. So just to be on the safe side, make sure that your defense is working. Up, With your shadow boxing as well, you want to try and practice so no matter what technique you throw, you should be able to throw another technique straight away. Whether it be left and right, left and left, left and left and left and right. So make everything flow as much as you can. So instead of punching 1 and then 2, trying to flow so everything just rolls. Same with your kicks, knees and elbows. Jab, kick, coming back. 1, 2, step, knee, coming back. Elbow, 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 knee, back, kicking through, coming back again. 1, 2. Even with the one hand, jab, up. Oh, everything's loaded. 1. I'm bringing back. So instead of just an arm punch, I'm reloading every time. 1, 2, 3, and back to the guard. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, nice and relaxed the whole time. The more stiff you are, the harder it'll be to execute your shot. So from here, just coming through, keeping the body nice and loose, not tense at all. But, as you deliver and stepping away, deliver, coming around, back to the guard, and back through, up, and back through. Don't just favor one side, try and work both sides equally so they're both fluent. Right, coming through, same technique again. Now we just change the leg, so no matter what we punch, we can throw either leg left or right, so it's both as comfortable as each other. Muay Thai is a great way for keeping fit, while also challenging yourself to improve your technique every time you train. The best thing you can do is just relax, have fun, enjoy your training, set your goals high, and don't stop till you reach them, just like I did. Okay, it's good to practice what I preach. Now I've got to get into training myself. Every good Muay Thai fighter has a solid base. To start the hook, we're going to bring the elbow lock. If we really want to up the intensity, we can start doing double bounces. Oh. Alright, I'll give it a go, see if I can pull it off. Nope. You locking through, lock it out, pull on the right shoulder, bang, and we want to try and stop about 2 inches past our nose so we don't trying to generate as much power as possible. I was doing good too. Try not to cheat and bring yourself halfway down. You want to try and get your the whole time keeping one hand up so that you don't not.
Wayne's other hobby would have to be karaoke. He thinks he could be a singer if he retired in Muay Thai, but he needs to keep fighting. Action!
สิ่งเดียวที่อยากให้เธอจากไปสิ่งเดียวที่อยากให้ไทยจะรับรู้สิ่งเดียวที่อยากให้เธอคิดดูให้รู้ให้คิดก่อนจะจากฉันไป That's enough.
Too good, man. That was for us.
Before we start any of our routines, we don't want to start off cold. We want to try and warm up the muscles and get a light sweat before we get into the action. Either a light run around the block or grabbing a skipping rope. When you first start out for the gym, you don't want to look like a beginner, so you want to try and practice at home if you can. At school, when you first grab the rope, they teach you to double bounce in between. Okay, this doesn't look good in front of the boys. So to start off with, we're just going to hold the rope level at the hips and feet together, trying to make it one spin per bounce. Until you get used to the movement, you're probably going to be jumping very high using a lot of energy. After a little while, just try and jump just enough so the rope's gliding underneath the feet. Once you start getting the motion and feel comfortable, then we can start incorporating lifting one leg up for 2 bounces and changing over. With your skipping routine, set yourself goals, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I like to skip for half an hour. To pick up the intensity, the last 30 seconds, I like to do 2 spins per bounce. Just be careful using the big drop though, because if you hit your toes, it sure does hurt. Now we've had a great session, let's finish up with some abdominal work to make the abs nice and strong. Just going to have our ankles nice and close to our bum, keeping the legs bent, hands on top of the thighs, and we're just going to raise our body up all the way till the wrist past the knees. I don't want to see any cheating with just to the fingers. Try and bring the wrist all the way past. This is just enough so you're not overextending and getting a sore lower back. Another variation is hands behind the head and just raising the body up about almost to the top of the knees and back down again. Keeping the back nice and straight. If you want to work the sides, once you're up to the top, just bringing the elbows to the knees. Work on both sides. And down. Try and keep good control the whole time so you feel the burn. When I lived in Thailand, we didn't have the luxury of having a sit-up machine. All we had was a towel and the floor. So we're just going to come through, making the body nice and flat, hands behind the head, not putting any pressure on the neck, raising the body up 90 degrees, 2 little pumps from the arm, and come back down. 1, 2, and down. 1, 2. I don't want to overcommit, just 90 degrees is sufficient. If that's easy, hands nice and straight, raising up and touching the toes. No cheating where you're just touching your knees or your shins. Really raise the body all the way up as high as you can so you can touch your toes, no worries. If you can do that, no worries. Let's try this hard one. Hands are nice and straight, raising the body up so you're touching both toes at the same time. Working the abs is very important. Not only for endurance, so while on the ring taking good shots and be able to stand there and keep going for the whole duration, but it's also intimidate your opponent a little bit. So when you're under the lights, oiled up, looking strong, you're going to put a bit of fear factor into the fight as well. Now we've worked the front side of the body, let's roll over on our side and we'll work the obliques. We're just going to lock this foot underneath the knee, having the hip and shoulder level with the ceiling. Hands on the head, and we're just going to raise the body up all the way to the elbow touches the hip. Coming all the way back down and touching through. Maybe just start off nice and easy, 20 one side, rolling over, 20 other. This is a great exercise because this is where the majority of the kick's going to land, so it's a good idea to get it as strong as possible if you can. Another good exercise for the obliques is coming through, bringing the heels nice and close to the bum. Raising the shoulders off the ground only a couple inches, keeping them horizontal to the floor, and just rolling through so you're touching your heels. You should be able to pump out at least 30, then set your goals to 50 and 100. We really want to make a good core strength so when we get hit in the fights, we don't get winded or get dropped. Another great exercise for the abs is the crunches. We're going to come down, lift the knees so they're parallel with the hips, ankles and knees side by side, hands on the head, raising the body up, getting those elbows to touch the knees and come back down. About 20 of them a day, and plus the other abs exercises, and you should have the abs shown in no time. If you happen to have a medicine ball at home or at the gym, and you want to take your abs to another level, here's a few favourites of mine that I like to do. Firstly, just bending the knees, keeping the ball on the chest, coming all the way back, touching the ball, and coming back up again. If you want to mix it up a little bit again, putting the ball in between the legs, coming back down, touching the hands up behind the head, raising up, grabbing the ball, same again, placing down, wheel it out. From there, we can keep our ankles nice and close to our butt, back off the ground 45 degrees, and just coming through and touching the ball either side. If you thought that was hard, wait till we do some push-ups with the ball. Our last exercise of the day is going to be push-ups. We're not going to do the regular ones with the elbows out to the sides, but bringing the hands in so they're about shoulders width apart and having the elbows coming behind our body. We're going to lower ourselves down nice and slowly and explode up as fast as we can. Start off with 10. If you do 10 easy, go to 20, 30, 50, and after a few weeks you'll notice the difference in your punching power on the pads. If you've got the medicine ball at home, there's no point leaving it in the corner and letting it get cobwebs. Try and pull it out a couple of times a week and take advantage of it so you get that good upper body strength. From here, we're just going to have the thumbs and forefingers touching the top of the ball. Keeping the ball underneath our chest, we're going to lower our body down as close as we can and then come back up. These ones are pretty hard, so start off at 10 and then gradually build yourself up. Another one again is from here, is keeping the ball centered, lowering our body down, and then taking it slowly. We're just going to raise our body up onto the ball and then coming back down the other side. Once you find that quite easy, then we can pick it up again and make it a little bit more harder. This time, as I come up, I'm going to roll the ball to one hand to the other. If you're bored of your push-up routine, I've got something that's really going to throw a spanner in the works. From here, we're going to do some claps, but not your regular claps, something that's going to really make you start sweating and really get the muscles going really fast. We're going to start off with just basic claps first, coming down as low as you can and exploding up. Sound easy? Let's add another element to it. We're going to clap. Second one, we're going to come up and touch the chest. If you think that's easy, the third one, we're going to touch our thighs. We're going to go down, chest, thighs. Then we're going to start again. 1, 2, 3. To see how many sets you can do without stopping. 1. Make sure you've got a good soft surface underneath you, because if you mess up, you're going to land straight on your nose. This would probably be the most extreme push-up I know how to do. Not only is it fun to do, but it's also a good way to impress your friends. We're going to come down and we're going to try the triple. We're going to come down as low as we can and explode up. Clapping underneath, clapping behind, clapping underneath, then touching the ground. It sounds hard, but I'm going to give it a crack. Let's see how it goes. What do you reckon about that one? Try that one home, see how you go. With the hand wrap, you want to try and get it so the stitching side is down. We place it around the thumb. From here, we want to try and get about 4 good rolls around the wrist. So as we come around, we're pulling firmly but not too tight that we cut the circulation off in our hand. So 2, 3, 4. Once we have the wrist done, we're going to come up the top, starting on one side of the knuckle and then getting another good layer over the top of all the knuckles. So when we hit the pads or the bag, we don't take skin off, and we're protecting ourselves too, so they've got good layers over the top so we don't break our knuckles. Once we're there, we're going to come back down around the wrist and locking it off so it doesn't get too loose or annoying while you're training, because nothing worse. From here, back around the wrist to lock it off so it doesn't get loose. We want good support around the wrist, so if we happen to uppercut or hook wrong, that we don't tweak our wrist, and it's going to put us out of training for a couple more days. So it's a good idea to have it nice and tight. We've come around the wrist. Now we're going to do a full 360 around the finger. So we start one side, we loop it around, and then we come all the way around the other side. So we're getting 2 layers of hand wrap around one knuckle each at a time. We come down. We're going to lock that down around the wrists, and that just keeps it nice and tidy, because nothing worse than having your hand wraps come loose as you're training. From here, with the same deal again, we come up, one side of the finger, a full 360, so you're getting double layer on the middle knuckle, keeping it firm, pulling it nice and tight, but not too crazy where the circulation gets cut off. Come around the wrist again, around, okay, ring finger, same deal again. Full 360, Keeping it firm. Okay, so we've locked it off. I don't really worry about the pinky that much because we shouldn't be punching with it. It doesn't really need protection. I've locked it off. Now I'm going to come around the knuckles again and give them a couple of layers. So not only have they got layers on them each, but we give them a couple more layers to make sure it's nice and padded. So here we come through. We can come back down around the wrist again to lock it off to make it nice and tidy. If you like, you can come around one side and we're going to do the thumb. So we lock it through. So a full 360 again, one side, coming all the way around, locking it in, and then coming around. The thumb's a very important limb on the hand. Without it, you're not going to be able to close your hand or make a fist or brush your teeth or open a door, shake a hand. So it's a very good idea to keep your thumb protected at all times. So we'll give it another layer just in case we do happen to hurt it. So we've got two good layers of padding on there. We come back around with the remaining of the hand wrap and just locking into the wrist to make sure that it's nice and stiff. Locking it off. From here, it's firm. The wrist is locked in, so as I hook or as I uppercut, from here I shouldn't be able to damage myself, hopefully. So we're not nice and tight. When you're blocking as well, if you get a hard punch or a hard kick, you don't want your wrist coming in and banging yourself in the head with your own hand. You want it locked out. So that's one hand wrap done. Now I've got one hand done. Let's have a look from another angle. We'll come around the wrist 4 times. 1, 2, 3. Making sure it's firm but not too tight where you cut the circulation off. 4. We come over the top, coming up past the index finger. A full lap around the knuckles so you're getting good protection over each and every one. Once again, firm but not too tight. We come down and we lock it off down the wrist so that the wrap doesn't get too loose while you're training because it will become annoying. We're going to come back around. Now this is probably the hardest part of it all, is we start on the index side of the finger and we do a full 360. And as you can see, I'm getting 2 layers on each knuckle. Here, making sure that it's nice and neat. Coming down around the wrist, locking it off again. We come up, now we do the middle finger, up one side, full 360, double layer over the knuckle, nice and firm. Around the wrist, locking it off. The ring finger, round, double layered again, locking it through so it's nice and neat. For a little bit more protection, we come up over the top and we give all the knuckles another couple of layers just so we don't tear the skin off as we're punching the pads or the bag. Not so much worried about the pinky because we shouldn't be punching with that bad boy anyway. We're going to come down. Hopefully you have nice long hand wraps like myself. We're going to come around and then we're just going to put a few layers around the thumb. We're going to come around one side, full 360 again, so that locking that thumb in place so it's nice and protected as well. I've still got a little bit of hand wrap left, so I come around 2 layers, making a fist the whole time, just checking that it's not too tight anywhere. From here, we just finish it off around the wrist, making it nice and firm, so as I hit the pads, if there's any mistakes that I don't tweak my wrist or hurt myself. And there we have it, a nice solid hand wrap.
One night, I saw one boy look skunk, cutting the hair and look like he just wake up on something nowhere to go. He said, come in shop. Sawadee krap. I want to learn Muay Thai. And he asked when he haven't got much money. Wearing the shoe named Paul or something like that. The toe coming out. Wearing short and singlet, I want to learn Muay Thai. I said, come on, go away. I don't know Muay Thai much. Nah. That become Wayne.
Richard Vell, who owns the Boonja restaurant, he probably started looking after me when I was about 16. And then as a sponsorship, he said, come down to the restaurant and feel free to have dinner once a week. So that ended up turning into an everyday occurrence. So it was only walking distance to his shop, and we used to just sit and talk about Thailand for hours upon hours, every single day.
I asked Wayne, you want to go to Thailand to train? Yeah, I like to train. I like to train in Thailand. Okay. So I say, okay. I don't say anything. I prepare the ticket. I ask him, he got a passport, everything, the whole lot. And after that, I say, Wayne, this is your ticket to go to Thailand to train with my family in Pattaya City. Before he going, he put the tattoo at the back. That's Muay Thai symbol. I say, Wayne, are you sure you gotta put tattoo in your back? This is gonna be stick on your back for all of your life. He said yes. By that time, maybe it cost me about $150 or whatever. So he put that symbol at his back. Is the first start of the Muay Thai he started.
What turned into a 6-month holiday ended up being 4 years. So started fighting for the number one promoter in Thailand. Started to get on the big shows at Lumpini and fighting on Thai TV, and won my first 9 fights straight over there. And then started fighting the really hard guys. The first guy was Orono, who'd had over 250 fights, Lumpini champion, everything else. And I'd only had 20 fights by then. Good fight for the first couple of rounds. Then ended up cutting me up 21 stitches. So it was a hard lesson, but yeah, every fight after that was just wars. So good experience, a good apprenticeship to come back to Australia and say, okay, I got a diploma in kicking ass. I named the gym Boonshu after Richard Vell's restaurant to pay respect for him for sending me to Thailand and looking after me in the days where I couldn't afford dinner or food or shoes or anything. Boonshu means blessed by the gods in Thai, and I fully feel that really is what's happened since I met Richard. I've been truly blessed by Richard and everything that he's given me in life's lessons. So what other way to say thank you? And he's happy as well. He can't believe that a young kid that he picked up off the street pretty much has come so far in his life, and with his help has helped nurtured to become a champion. So he's we're both as happy as each other.
Bunshu Tom Yum noodle soup. And after that, when I start with the Muay Thai, now I create one dish, and when like it, and all the Muay Thai boxer they like it, I call Bunshu, I call Muay Thai chicken. Muay Thai chicken. Now very famous for the Thai boxer. Everyone come to the Gold Coast, come to watching Wayne fighting, come to see Muay Thai, come to Bunshu and eat Muay Thai chicken.
Living in Thailand, when I first went there, I lived in Pattaya for 3 months. And then one of the superstars in Thailand, Sangtian Noi, the Deadly Kisser, came to Queensland for a fight. After his fight, he came back. He met Richard Vell, and Richard looked after him for the week that he was here. And for them to say thank you to him for looking after them, they said, when we get back to Thailand, we'll get John Wayne and take him to our gym in Bangkok. So once they got back, they've come and picked me up. And they said, oh, here's the new boxer room. This is where the boxers sleep. And it was just like a wooden floor where I had to share the room with like 8 other blokes. The toilet was like just the porcelain foot hole in the bathroom. No toilet paper. It was just all bucket on the hand. So you have to pour water on your hand and clean your bum. With that same bucket, you'd wash up and clean yourself for a shower, lather up with soap, and then rinse off again. And with that same bucket again, that was the one that we'd have to pour under your toothbrush and brush your teeth, then rinse your mouth out with the same bucket. So it was pretty ordinary. I had to sleep on the floor, on the wooden floor. So to make a bit of comfort, I put a doona down on top of the floor, and then had a sheet for a blanket. And then you could have told me to sleep outside in the dirt, and I would have done it just to become a world champion. It's just looking back, it was pretty hard, but I'd do it all again. It was so much fun, it was uncomfortable, and the food was pretty spicy, and some things you couldn't even eat, and a lot of times you get diarrhea because the food wasn't that clean and the water's not clean. But yeah, it's just one of those life experiences that I ticked off and say, yeah, I've done it. After winning 9 fights straight in Thailand, I got the privilege to be the first Westerner on the cover. It was just blowing out. It was so cool. I'd never made a front cover before in my life, and to make the Thailand one was a very big buzz. My next fight after that was Orono. So yeah, I got a full reality check after that one. So that brought me way back down to earth. But no, it was a buzz to be on the cover, especially in the Thai buses and going past all the news agents and seeing the magazines on the shelves and up on the stands so everyone can see. It's like, wow, this is too good to be true.
Now, when by the time he become a world champion, he give the interview to Muay Thai Siam magazine. I give him a new life about boxing. Richard is my second father. He gave me a new life. Without him, I will go nothing. Now, so that's why he called me the second father.
After living in Thailand for almost 5 years, you just become half Thai. I lived there for so long, and you learn the culture, and 90% of the Thai people are Buddhists, so they're so humble and so warm and friendly and just the greatest people on earth. And then my sponsor, who's a Thai man but lived in Australia last one, he has 2 sons, a little bit younger than myself, and they were going to be monks for 7 days, and my sponsor said, would you like to go and be a monk with them in the temple? And as an appreciation to Thailand for everything that I've learned from that country, it was my way of giving back to say thank you. Without their help, I wouldn't be where I am today. So yeah, got the head shaved, the full ceremony, and stayed in the temple and had all my possessions taken away for 7 days, and just lived off food offerings that we'd walk around in the block every morning. People would give us rice and meat and chicken and stuff, and it was very humbling. It was a wake-up call to say life's not that hard. You only put all these pressures on yourself, and everything's materialised, whereas it's not that hard. If you got food and water and a place to sleep, life's good. It was fun to be totally just relying on other people for food, and it was very humbling. Humbling is the word that I use, because it's nice to have a nice car and it's nice to have material things, but to have all your possessions taken away and saying, okay, here's your orange robe and here's a bowl, 1 fork, 1 knife, 1 cup, 1 plate. That's all your possessions. You sleep on the floor, you might have a mosquito net, and then, yeah, it's just, wow, this is all that I need. Really, at the end of the day, if a big flood come in tomorrow and wash my house away and wash all my possessions away, I could still live. I don't need to live like a king. So I just need my family and food, and I'm happy. When we first get here and warming up, our main goal is just to have a bit of a shadow box and look at our own technique to make sure that everything's flowing freely and there's no gaps. Everything's textbook, even throwing a single jab, making sure that the hands are up, they're coming straight back, they're not looping down, the hooks are nice and high, round kicks, keeping your balance, not losing posture, and just you're your own imaginary opponent in the mirror. So you're not only looking at your technique, but you're also using yourself as a target. So in the mirror, you're punching yourself in the nose, punching yourself in the body. You're seeing your floating ribs for your ribs, for your body kicks, for your teeps. You're your own opponent. So it's the hardest person to beat up is yourself. With my training schedule, I'm pretty strict on myself with running. I really think it's a big important part of general fitness. I'm at the gym at 7, I put my shoes on and I run for an hour straight, over 12 kilometres. A few hills involved as well. get back to the gym a couple of times a week. I have a Thai guy from Brisbane that drives up, Mr. Dip. He holds pads for me for an hour and a half after that, and then sit-ups and push-ups and everything else. Afternoons, not quite a bigger run, only a 6 to 8k run in the afternoons, where I come back and I do more rounds on the pads, more intense rounds. Bag work, if I have my friends here, I'll do drills, grappling, light sparring. Once again, more sit-ups, more push-ups to get the body nice and strong, all the core fitness. Saturdays, we just purely spar, and then have half a Saturday and Sunday off, just to let the muscles replenish. Having a good high work rate in the gym is very important, because the last thing you want to do is get into halfway through round 4 or 5 and have the legs going where you feel like you're stuck in the mud. So yeah, running's important, and your sit-ups are important because you don't want to get hit with a body shot and get dropped. So yeah, high work ethic, and then that's going to get you over the line come fight time. My mouthpiece started from a guy called Ivan Hippolyte in Holland. He was a black man over there with the fangs, and he used to give the Thais the heebie-jeebies because he'd stare at them and growl at them, and the Thais are very superstitious, and to see a demon-like figure in front of him to fight used to scare the wits out of him. Then he'd bash him. So I pretty much stole the design from him, and then it's been it's almost like a mask, even though it's just a little mouthpiece. It's funny how it can change your whole personality and really get into someone's head, knowing that they've just punched in the face, and you smile back with fangs. It's sort of, you see their reaction, and then you punch them in the face back. So yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. Timing is very important in this sport. It's not something you can pick up in a couple of sessions. It takes years and years and years to see the shots coming, and to learn to evade and to get that muscle memory. So I'm very fortunate that after almost 100 fights, that if a punch comes, I'll automatically move or automatically parry or block. It's not something that I think about. It's just there. Thank goodness. It's just after years and years and years, it's just happens. So it's not going to happen in 1 year if you're a new guy starting out. It's a long road to the top. So just if you get kicked a couple of times, get punched in the face a couple of times, just keep being persistent, and eventually it'll happen. I hope that this set is an opportunity for someone like myself who lived on properties that didn't have a chance to come into the city and train with professional fighters or world champions or have anything, even just to have a bag would have been awesome back when I was growing up. If there's something out there where they can put it in, practice in the lounge room, practice in the mirror, get out in the backyard, even with their own little video camera, video themselves training, it all helps. You might not want to live in the country forever, but if you have the basic fundamentals and then come to the city and you have half an idea what you're doing, it's going to take that less time off learning the basics. You're already halfway there and getting straight into the real training. So in not too distant future, if you want to live your dream and jump in the ring, you're not too far away from it. So it's important for every kid out there to have a hobby and stay away from alcohol and drugs, and if you can get into training and keep yourself positive, you're doing something good. I've had almost 100 fights now, so I know what works and what doesn't. My defense is strong. As a professional fighter watching it, every gym's different. Every instructor trains a little bit different as well. I've been fortunate enough to have my basic from the ground up from Thailand, so I've got pure, authentic Muay Thai skills, I believe. So if I can once again help them learn just even 1 or 2 techniques, they've walked away with something they didn't have before.